Hey everyone, it is hot today. It's in the upper 80s, like I think today's high was like 86 here. Um, and it's like 9, what time is it? 9, 10 o'clock right now at night, and it's still hot, so I'm trying to stay cool. um, I know I have some new followers, and I want to say hello. And I know I have some people who have been following me for a while, and I've had a few people to ask me where I am in my journey. And if you see me looking off to the side, I'm looking at my cat. He decided to crawl up here and make sure everything turns out all right. um, so, just to kind of get everybody up to speed and let everyone know who I am, I prefer to go by the name Amaris. And yes, that is my real name. But I have another name, but I prefer to go by Amaris. And I am a single mom by choice to be. I'm not pregnant or expecting just yet, or what? You looking at? He's so focused on something. What? What is it? Anyways, I guess he's gonna go. Okay. So, to kind of give everyone a little bit of background on my journey and where I am now, just making it really quick. So, I would say for a very long time, since I was probably a young teenager, I knew that I wanted a non-traditional family. I just knew that I wanted a non-traditional family. I didn't know what that would look like. Exactly, I didn't really know. I wasn't sure if I would be like a stepmom or something. I just didn't want I didn't want it to be a traditional family. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want it to be a traditional family. I don't know why or how. I think I was just wondering if it was possible or if it even existed, but whenever I was about 17, 18 years old, I looked up, did some research on being a single mom. I didn't know it was considered a choice mom, a single mom by choice. I don't know if back then if that was a really big, if it was a well-known term at that time. I'm not really sure. but I looked it up, and because my family at the time, we were following Christian ideology, the Christian ideology didn't discourage women from being single moms, even through adoption, because that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about, is it okay for, would it be okay for me to adopt, and be a single mom, you know? Not that, not that I wouldn't eventually have a partner or something like that. It's just that, just the thought or the idea of just having a kid on my own before finding a partner was something that seemed like a great idea to me. So I kind of dropped it because, it was discouraged. It wasn't anything that was really encouraged or thought highly of. I think the biggest thing was that they were like, women can't, raise children, especially boys, on their own. So, they have to, the traditional way of thinking, but I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not against that. I just think that as long as you have one parent in your life, whether male or female or non-binary or whatever, who loves you, cares about, loves the child, cares about the child, is a responsible parent, and does everything to the benefit of that child, I don't think the child will miss out on not having a two-parent home, or having a two-parent home like later on in life. I don't think it'll be a big deal. I think that child will grow up healthy, whole person because someone loved them enough to give them their all. So, but anyways, fast forward, in my late 20s, early 30s, I was diagnosed with uterine fibroids. I was having a lot of complications with that, a lot of issues with that, a lot of health issues, in and out of the hospital, needing blood transfusions, things of that nature. And at that time, I was not interested in having children at all. So, I just wasn't interested in having children. And I remember, and I actually appreciated him asking me. But the first OBGYN I saw about my condition, he asked me, do you want to have children? And I said, no. But my mom wanted me to keep my options open, so I was like, okay, my options open. Okay. Not that if I had gone forward with that I would necessarily regret that decision now because I still want to adopt. Um, but maybe I would. I don't know. But anyway, try to keep it short. Um, so, for those of you who don't know, I am vegan. And that has been actually within the past few years I've become vegan. And the reason was because of the uterine fibroids. I initially was against it. I didn't want to I had heard of other people who started eating raw diet, and some people went on these long fasts, and I was like, oh. But it's kind of a long story. I'll probably talk about it more in another video. But I decided to go vegan just to test and see how my body responded, because my body, I have allergies, food allergies, and one of the things I cannot consume is milk, and I cannot consume, come to find out, meat. Yes. And so I decided to do this vegan thing, but I was more so doing that as I initially started doing it as a test, just to see how my symptoms would improve, or if they wouldn't improve. And they did improve. And so I was like, well, once I didn't want to go completely vegan. I was just kind of cutting out a whole bunch of meat in my diet. But every time I would eat meat, I would have these bad reactions, and my uterus would get really angry. Long story short, I just decided to go completely vegan. So, yeah. And of course, things have improved over the years significantly. But there were, because of some other situations, there were some things that still were not completely resolved. So I, fast forward to where we are now. I have, what was that? Mama. Well, let me kind of back up and then fast forward. No. I'll just go ahead and keep talking. Sorry. ADHD, brain, kind of all over the place. So fast forward today. This year, I am focusing on my health and getting it to where it needs to be in order for me to be able to start working towards, if possible, using my own eggs and conceiving. So I'm hoping that by the end of this year, this fall, that I will be able to work on mini IVF. For those who are familiar with it, you probably have heard that it's cheaper and things of that nature. So that's what I want to do, because I can retrieve more eggs. So I've been looking at my options, looking at donor sperm and stuff like that, and yeah. But yes, so how did I change my mind from in my late 20s, early 30s to now to having, wanting to be a single mom by choice. I started around that time, whenever my mom was like, keep your options open. I decided to go back to what I was initially thinking about back whenever I was like 17, 18 years old, and research single motherhood. Some of you may be familiar with Autism Mom. I think on YouTube she's Boston Mom or something like that. She's she has a daughter who has autism. I follow her. She was one of the first videos I started watching and following because she was talking about being a single mom by choice and things of that nature. Who else was I following? There were a few others I started following that I'm currently following on IG now. And so I started kind of doing my research, and I wanted to freeze my eggs, but there were things that kind of prevented me from being able to do it then. Of course, finances, but there were other things that were involved. Fast forward, I kept thinking about it, and thinking about it, and so I decided to create my own community, build a community where I was at least able to kind of follow other women and get an idea of what it was I was going to get myself into. And just kind of see what other women were experiencing, what they were doing. Sorry, somebody is doing something right now. I just don't know if they need to come in here. Yeah. So, sorry, I was just making sure they didn't need to come in here. So I started building my community, meeting other, getting to know other women who were on this journey of getting single mom by choice. That's how I learned about the names. And I was like, oh, single mom by choice. And I met Miss Sarah Kowalski, who is the founder of Motherhood Reimagined, and I'm a part of her community, which is a wonderful community. If you're looking for a community where you can ask questions, you can post questions and whatnot, post updates. You don't have to, do any video face-to-face talk. If that's not something you're ready for to do, it's a really great community, and yeah, that's how I kind of started, and you know, improving in my health. My health is getting better, and I am hopefully on the road to starting IVF. So we'll see how things work out. And of course, some of you do know that I have been working on getting certificates and whatnot, and in foster to adopt. And I know I'm going to have to do some more classes and stuff like that, so I'm working on that too. But I'm also working on other things to kind of, so that, I have, I'm ready, to kind of move forward. I should also mention that some of you probably remember back in maybe a little over a year ago. I think it was a little over a year ago. Yeah, a little over a year ago. I was going through, what was it, a year ago? No, it was a little over a year ago. I was going through a lot in my family. There's a lot of things going on. It was really rough for me and my family. It was a very difficult time, but I'm very thankful for it, for a few things. One of those things is I was able to look and see I realized the kind of parent I didn't want to be, and realize how unhealthy it was. You grow up and sometimes certain things you hear and see you think is okay, and you don't realize the damage that it does, and how hurtful and painful it is to a developing child. Even as an adult, it's very damaging. Another thing was, I think it was necessary so that I could move forward with my plans of being a mother, a parent, because I want my children to be surrounded by people who are healthy for them and who are safe. And who love them, and who are going to make decisions that are going to benefit them. And then the other thing is, I was able to begin to heal mentally, emotionally, and to grow as a person, because certain people the universe moved them out of my life. And those people need to leave my life. so that I could be the person that my children need me to be. Because it's very difficult to be what your children need you to be whenever you yourself are still dealing with trauma. And so, yeah, it was those difficult, those painful, it was challenging, and a lot of uncertainties. During that time, I learned a lot, and I also learned how important it is for women to be independent. It's one thing to know, it's another, it's one thing to know it up here. It's another thing to know it, to realize, to actually see how important it is for a woman to be independent. So, yeah. So that's where I am. This year, I guess, is a year of healing and new things. So, any questions or comments? Hey, leave them in the comments. I'll try to respond as soon as possible. And have a wonderful day. And if it's hot where you are, I feel you. It's hot. Take care.